Gather, connect, and activate your authentic voice. The Women of the Sword Channel invite you to Nevada City, California for an all-inclusive weekend retreat. We've chosen the sacred grounds of Harmony Ridge Lodge, Nevada City's most beautiful retreat venue, with walking trails and an ability to connect to nature. It's just the perfect place. Saturday morning, Eileen Nash is going to teach us about intentional creativity through the art of smash booking. I can't wait. We're going to access your inner muse and get down to your deepest desires. Then I'm going to step up on Saturday afternoon and we're going to talk about blooming out loud, how to take those desires and turn them into the beautiful life you'd like to be living. Sunday morning, Jan is going to lead us through voice release, a joyful process where all your fears and inhibitions about speaking your truth melt away. Join us in Nevada City in October and activate your authentic voice.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Hi there, and welcome to the kitchen table of Divine Feminine Wisdom. I have a repeat guest today, my first repeat guest. Why? Because she's so special. Multi-talented, multifaceted. She is a universal being who is gifting us with her presence here. She races dog sled. She is a light body surgeon. She also does soul contract work and helps people find their perfect name. Please welcome Barbera, Ammahlia, Schaefer, Berdner.
Thank you.
There she is. I did well on the four names. So we were just talking upstairs. Interestingly, sometimes the mothers of our generation, they were afraid to expose that they were having new consciousness thoughts, but we both discovered something a moment ago. My mom raised 8 kids, and when I was about 19, I go, Mom, she's a good Catholic mom. She had a stack of books she would read every night. I go, Mom, what were you reading? Edgar Cayce, Seth Speaks, Consciousness. And now tell me what you just told me about your mom.
So I was sharing with Jan just earlier that we had done a little segment kind of speaking up of our truth with some things that had happened. And we always say, oh my gosh, what would our families think? And what I've noticed is that as I'm sharing more and more, my mom is opening up, and she's opening up to some of her experiences.
She feels safe now.
Yes, about either where she would have dreams that are premonitions that actually turn out to be true, or feeling the energies of spirits, and she's just opened up a lot more. And the same with my brother, that through doing this work, he came up, without outing him too much, right? That he came up and he said, so Barbara, what do you do when XYZ? And I said, I have a little clearing for that. Here, just do that.
They want to be sure that if they're buying into your experiences, they're not too far out there. People need to feel safe, but humans are spiritually waking up now. They're having cognitions, dreams, deja vus that they can't make sense of. So maybe we, the brave ones, it's happening a little sooner too. So you see that with your clients, things they don't understand, and you can give a context.
Mm-hmm. I may not, definitely, Jan, and I may not understand everything that they see because it's their experience.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
But I can at least, one, let them know they're not crazy.
Yes.
Okay? And then help them sort through their experience of their step, of owning their power of what is truly their higher self and their higher guidance and what isn't.
Yes.
And we can clear the funk that's attracting the what isn't.
It's so easy to attract confusion, and that can come in the form of other people who want to interfere, or even disembodied beings who want to interfere.
Right, or even wonderful dear friends that on an unconscious
Oh, my
level,
goodness.
totally unconscious,
Oh yes.
are sending some signals that help you get
Yes.
confused.
I just had a friend come visit me, and it was so funny because the whole time was focused on what's wrong with Jan. Let's fix Jan. And I thought, how interesting, we never talk about her. And so maybe that's our contract, but I realized I needed to set some stronger boundaries, because what your client, what I'm experiencing, your experience, is perfect for us.
Right.
We can't be in judgment, but when someone asks us to help make sense or to see clearer, to help us then heal ourselves. And so you have distinguished yourself, I think, as an ace healer. People
Well, thank
really
you.
trust you. You have some pretty high skills. Tell us a little bit about what you do with people.
It's one of those that I am continuing. You work so well with people speaking their truth and speaking up, and I will admit, I will acknowledge that describing this, in a succinct fashion can sometimes be challenging. Yet, probably the simplest way is that all of us here are the chosen ones.
Yes.
All of us who are on this earth right now, we're all the chosen ones, right? And part of the reason that we were chosen to be here was because we're souls that needed to wanted the greatest experience of light and dark. And in order to experience that, we came with some energetic blocks that prevent us from completely connecting with Source, or as I say, the Creator in us, right? Because we are a spark of the Godhead.
Yes.
Right?
And the blocks are what? Protecting for the right timings, or
The blocks are
learning?
Well,
for learning?
protecting for the right timing, but not protecting like from bad things happening, but protecting you as you become more spiritual and more awakened. They're like these little pings that go off so that you can't fully connect, so you can continue to live the separation.
Be limited.
Yes, and so
I
that's
see.
the work of the light body surgery specifically, is removing these blocks.
Yeah.
In fact, literally, we talk a lot about the glass ceiling in the corporate world. There is literally a glass ceiling for connecting to Source
Interesting.
that most everyone has. Not everyone has, but most everyone. And that is one of the light body structures that lets you connect, but just enough.
So if you're having blockages, that'll turn into physical disease.
Yes, very much so.
And what types of diseases would you see with that?
So the most common, they're often called ascension symptoms. The most common is it starts with adrenal fatigue.
Oh
Right.
yes, and immunosuppressive
Yes,
disorders.
yes. And then everything really chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, MS, thyroid issues, and then progressively cancer. But before all the adrenal fatigue,
Yes.
it starts off with tiredness.
So you can help people reverse that then.
Mostly help them, like I was saying to Lynn on the way over here, was that I wish people would just come to me before they had that.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a great example of that. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is a very off-the-charts thyroid disease. I was up to 90 micrograms, you know better, you got the nurse, of thyroid medicine a day plus some other things. And through doing this work, I'm down to 45 a day.
Amazing.
So just in about a year's period.
What I found is there's actually gradients of decomposition, so you want to see them before it's blown out. Because the system really can heal and replenish itself. But this was a new thought for me when I met you, that you might have these non-physical blockages which you've been gifted to see. Now, some of the people who are having quite stupendous expansion in their consciousness but might not have these skills, it's teamwork. So you're bringing
Yes.
a really important puzzle piece.
And very specific, we're going to call it specialized.
Yes, and I would say, I'm going to say something here and be vulnerable, but you worked on me.
Thank you.
And I actually had this pain and this issue in my neck, which as you remove some of the blockages, that was related to my not being able to speak my truth. and which is helping me just bear all here in this TV show for the whole world. But to feel like that's okay, because that's who I am.
Yes.
And that is the path I chose. And if I put a blockage in there for a certain time to meet you, to have this, I'm really looking at the perfectedness of this whole harmonic plan unfolding as a community.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stupendous activity, and your role is very important. So if you are well on your spiritual path and you're hitting against walls, Barbara,
Ammahlia, Schaefer, Berdner, but you can just call me Barbara.
I get stuck on the Molly. That part anyway. So I'm thrilled to have her back here. She is available. How do people contact you?
The best way is through my website, embodylightbody.com, and that's EMBODY, lightbody, LIGHTBODY.com. And I've got under my blog, I've got some free tools, some free clearing tools that are really helpful when you're just feeling the sludge of the world, and gives you a little chance to get a taste of the energy and the energies that I work with too.
Fabulous. So she is here in Nevada City, and another reason that this is implanting this diamond facetry that is reflecting more and more divine principles for the new paradigm. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled that you're here with me.
Thank you so much, Jan.
And we're going to go off and have a fabulous day here in Nevada City. Do come up and visit us. Be part of our team. We're on the Women Helping Women channel. This is the Just Jan TV show. And part of my joy is teaching you to get your message out, to support you to have your own TV show. I'm working on Barbara here. Hey, if you have a cell phone, you can just film yourself and get your message out. We make it easy. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you again, Barbara.
Thank you, Jan.
Namaste. Blessings. Welcome back to the Just Jan Show, the kitchen table of feminine wisdom. And it's my sense that each of us is bringing pearls of wisdom or a puzzle piece so that we can all work together and lift this planet up and be inspired. So my guest today is Catharine Bramcamp, and her role is amazing in that so many times messengers or healers are not adept at the left brain parts of social media, of bringing their story out so it's coherent and digestible and believable by the customers that they seek. So I'm thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful to share some of your wisdom. You're local. You're just new here back to Nevada City.
I'm just back to Nevada City. I grew up here, so I was here in the 70s, the 60s and the 70s. Now you can do the math. And we moved back. I moved back with my husband in May. So we just returned to settle here.
What I like about Catharine is that she understands the esoteric principles, but she knows that it really needs to be articulated in a way, and I believe that's your gift. That's one of the reasons I chose to work with you. And what are some of the ways that you feel are most productive for people who are healers or intuitives or have special gifts? Because many of the people who watch this are spiritually activated. So what can you share with them of how they can be more successful attracting the right client?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of mythology and I think fear around social media because there's so much of it and it comes at people so rapidly. And it also can be fairly inauthentic. And if you are in the spiritual world, if you are in the business of helping people, you're not interested in being perfect. You're not interested in drawing in the wrong people because you want to have, we all do, we want the right clients, we want the right connections. So part of what I think that people you could do is you look at what you like to do in social media, where you're finding your tribe, and you focus on that. So some people are fabulous with Twitter and they love that. I'm not in that space right now, and I don't really bring my clients to it because it's been recently in about the last year, it hasn't had a good enough energy, you should say. I'll be kind and just say not a good enough energy. I think that in some cases Pinterest would work. In some cases you're going to like Facebook. You want to definitely write about what you do and create blogs that explain what you're all about. Excuse me. And that will start that energy going and moving forward. And then of course, here's the bad news, then you have to keep feeding the beast.
Yes,
so that's the other part.
Discipline, another thing the right brain gifted people aren't really good at.
Because you forget, and we've all been to the websites. I was just going through one for a client, and I'll go in and say, oh, this looks like this to be great. He just finished a book. He needs to get reviews for his book, and I'll look at the blog. It's like, oh, look, good, January 2013. Okay, no. So that's part of the challenge, I think, for all of us. If you're very creative, my husband considers me a creative. Love this over here. 6 months later, okay, I'm off over there. And we have to nurture what we have so that we can be successful consistently, I think.
So stay fresh.
And stay consistent.
Stay consistent.
Yeah.
And how do you do that with a client? Like for myself, I'll say, oh, I'm going to do blogs. 2 weeks later, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do you do a little reminder, or do you help them write it, or all of the above?
All of the above. All of the above.
Okay.
One of the things that I do, because I work with creatives, is that I'm the person who calls them every week. I'm the person who says, hey, how's that book going? Because I'm a book coach as well. So I help people stay on track for their projects. And so I have a client, she's here in Nevada City, and she wants very badly to finish this book. It is the book of her heart. But it's hard to stay on track. She's got other things, right? We all do. She hires me. I'm the one who calls her up and says, how's that going? How's that going? How's that going?
And
that can be very effective.
Your emails are so gentle. They're like little wisps of, this is a good idea, or shall you do this? So it's...
Yeah, I don't want to I'm not a bludgeoner.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that, I think there was a period in the 80s where you had coaching was very rah-rah. It was very, it was much harsher.
Yes.
And I find that because I'm working with creatives, it's not something they're going to respond to. You want to respond to somebody saying, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? This is a really great idea. Have you considered this other? So I've learned the language so that people can feel
gentle guidance, because in
supported. Yeah.
Artistic right brain types, they're sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you'll scare them away.
Oh, yeah.
No, let's go back to this Twitter thing. I don't get it. There's no message. It's just like a couple little words that, and then maybe a link. How does that have any meaning? except for certain people are using it to run
Yeah.
the country, but let's leave that aside.
Yeah, I think
What is Twitter?
the goal of Twitter initially was to have conversations. Right, and so you subscribe to
5
somebody
words?
with 140 characters, and they called it microblogging. And people say, oh, they would post poetry, or they'd say, they would talk with each other. It was a methodology for just speaking with your tribe, essentially. And you found your tribe doing hashtags, so it's like you
How
follow
do you answer?
that.
Like underneath the Twitter, you just give a little
You
comment,
answer to the
or-
whole world is what it is. So it's not, off site. If you want to answer just to
Okay,
friends, then you're
okay.
going to be doing Snapchat, which I recommend for anybody under the age of 18. And fortunately, anybody over the age of 18, it's not going to grow your audience for you. So it's
Gotcha.
not something that you
Yes,
need.
I understand. My kids
not
let
have
me
to do
know,
that.
Mom, it's not cool for you to be making
Yeah.
comments on certain areas or parts. And,
Yeah.
my kids' aunts chime in sometimes. And
Not a good strategy. I have on Facebook, I follow my nieces, my kids, and I follow them on Instagram.
Yes.
And I'm very conscientious about
Oh, yes.
how I respond. So I
Exactly.
don't, when I see a photo of my son post something, I don't
Right.
respond and say, oh, boo-boo head, you're so cute. Because that really
just
undermines
as cute
him.
as when you were naked at 2 on
Right.
the table.
You post, and people get even. So be careful, children,
yeah.
because we
Yes.
will post the naked photo of you when you were 5,
Yeah.
because we just can. But I work
wicked.
at that. I don't want to be unfriended by my child. I can't imagine anything more
Yes.
embarrassing.
I'm very, very careful and understanding because I listen and watch and see how abrasive some people can be in social media.
They can, and I think that that's something that I work towards, and I think that all of us can work towards having a kinder exchange, being
Beautiful.
nicer, being supportive. And the
Yes.
people who I'm on Facebook with, that's exactly what they're trying to do. And I think
Yes.
that you can have a lot of impact just by not responding, or just by saying, let's be nicer about this. Let's not yell at
Exactly.
people. Let's not posture. Let's just be as authentic as we can. And it's an evolution.
It's a
Social media is
skill.
only 12 years old.
Yes.
So think about what your average 12-year-old is like, and you have a pretty good idea where social media is right now.
And what I've noticed is people's character stands out, whether it's their business or their personal. Do you recommend that people who want to have a business platform also have a personal, that they mix the two, or what's your thought on that?
Oftentimes you can't separate them out. So if you're in business, LinkedIn is definitely up and coming. It's not the stodgy outlet that it used to be.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is really handy, and I work on LinkedIn a lot. So you have your personal LinkedIn, you can't get away from that, but you can create a business page on LinkedIn, just as you can create a business page on Facebook. And then I run my businesses and I run my clients' pages for them. So you run your businesses on that page, and then you keep your personal feeds to the birthday parties and to the naked baby pictures of your son and things like that are really important and personal. And then your business can be separate. And I think that makes people
Great.
happier because they don't want to mix the two necessarily.
No, it can be a little awkward.
It can be, and you
Yes.
don't want to be about, hi, you're my friends and let me sell you something. It's not
Right.
how we want to, at least that's not how I want to be in the world.
Yes, I've heard on your own personal side it should be 80% personal and perhaps 20%, hey, I'm doing this. So
Yeah.
your perfect client, you actually handle and manage their social media
Yes.
pages. Oh,
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, I do
Good.
their, they give me all of their, there's a lot of trust going on. I get all of their LinkedIn codes. I
Wow.
take all their Facebook information. I have their websites, and then I can upload and write
And
things
do you
and
post
do things.
for them?
I
So
post
they
on
could
their
be
behalf.
in Hawaii, and you could be posting events and different things.
Yeah.
Once you learn their essence and nature.
Yeah, and it depends on what their comfort level.
What
I
it
have
is.
one client, he cracks me up. He's a jeweler. Language and writing is not what he does. He's a jeweler. But I love writing in his voice because he is just funny and he's very kind of snarky. So I just write, I post blogs, I post them on his LinkedIn, I post it on
Fabulous.
Facebook, I post it on the website, and he says, every time you do something, I get a boost in business. And he said, I don't even care what you're writing. I said, well,
There you go.
I'll tell that to everybody. He doesn't care. He just wants the words out there. It was pretty funny.
That's a very positive statement for your work. Now, how can
Appreciate
people
it.
reach you. Do you work with people not in Nevada City?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, beyond?
Yeah.
I don't want you to get too busy though, because I love the work that we're beginning to do to hone my message more clearly. Tell people how they can work
People
with
can
you,
find
Catherine.
me on NevadaCitySocialMedia.com, and you can also find me on YourBookStartsHere.com. And it's Catharine Bramcamp. You can find me all over the place. Friend me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. And those are my two places. And I work definitely remotely. That's the beauty of this. Is it's all it's all external. I tend to touch base either personally or by phone with my clients very consistently, so they feel comfortable and I know what they're about, and I think that's really important.
Beautiful. She's very trustworthy.
Yeah.
Practical, sensible, and affordable. And the reason I'm having her on the show, I know this sounds like an infomercial, is that, let's face it, most of the people that sit at this kitchen table are transformational agents. You're a transformational agent in a different way. You're supporting the infrastructure, and that you are helping guide like circuitry to its proper best home.
Thank you.
So congratulations on your success. I wish you further continued success, and thank you for being on the Just Jan show.
Thank you.
You are welcome. We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Hello, everybody. Well, one of the ways that we can keep our vibration up is to eat healthy. And nobody has that down better than the Asian cultures. Fresh seafood and vegetables and sushi rice. I'd like to introduce you to Hiroko Greenberg, who lives here in Nevada City, and she teaches how to eat like monks, how to be healthy, and how to let our bodies save that energy for our spirituality and consciousness and enjoyment of life by staying healthy and aligned. I just can't believe I actually made these. They're just too pretty to eat. Thank you, Hiroko. I think everybody should take your cooking classes and eat healthy and learn to make beautiful food. Thanks for joining us today. This programming is for you to grow and be inspired. And before we say goodbye today, I'd like to tell you who is joining us next week. She is...
I hear no thunder, I see no grace, I have no explanation for why I feel this way.
Do you feel that you have a message that you want to share with the world, but you feel like your voice is not being heard? We are here to help. We are SOAR with Sacred Circles, TV shows, radio shows, and workshops. We have created a special place for you to connect and find your voice in empowered community. Connect with us at soundandlighthealingarts.com.